in and was shared in the chat. This webinar is going to be recorded and will be posted so you guys can share with anyone who may be interested. So I was saying before, about a few months ago, I think September, October, we got a grant to create these webinars by the North Central Extension risk management. So you can see the logo on the bottom right. And the grant is basically we're using and creating a website. And the website is, think about TurboTax. Right now, we just started a new year and you're thinking, well, I need to do my taxes. I'm not gonna wait. Some people wait until the end of April. Some people wait until the end of the year to do their taxes.
Listen, what did you do with my flutters, huh?
What the hell are you
flutters,
talking?
of course.
Oh, come on, Grandpa, please stop.
Okay, so we had a couple of a second interruption. No worries. So we have created a tool. So think about TurboTax. So basically, a farmer or anyone who is interested in growing leafy greens on a high tunnel, inside a high tunnel, can use this tool to understand, okay, how much money am I making? How much, what are my revenues? What are my sales? How is my yield? Am I spending too much on labor? So this tool has that dynamic enterprise budget. So if you have used an enterprise budget, you know that there are some revenues based on the yield and the price that you get, but there's also some expenses. So with this tool, we're doing the first webinar was about how do we keep records. So we fit into this tool. And now we're looking into the financial performance, because the cool thing about this website that is going to be available for you in 1 month or 2. We're working with a website developer. This website is going to give you a financial performance. It's going to tell you how well are you doing, what is your revenue, what is your break even. And this is something that Jean-Pierre is going to talk. We have our team. My name is Ariana Torres. I'm a faculty at Purdue University. I'm an agricultural economist. We have Dr. Juliano Marquez, who is working with me, and Jean-Pierre Zavala, who is a master student working on the project. So we're very excited to have this series of webinars. Please share them with anyone and just access the website. And if you have any question, you can find us at the Purdue Horticulture Department website. So with that, Jean-Pierre, please go ahead. All yours.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I remember that we started this project like 3 months ago, and then we were giving one webinar per month. The idea of this project is to reach farmers, reach researchers or decision maker people to teach them or show them how the HortCalculator works. My name is Jan Zavala. I have a Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness Management, and also I have an MBA. And right now I'm working under the guidance of Dr. Ariana Torres at Purdue University, doing a master. And for today's sessions, we're going to talk about understanding your farm financial performance when introducing biological control. So what is the HortCalculator per se? HortCalculator is a tool basically that helps farmers to compare control methods to see if they are making profit and if they are making sustainable decisions. How the HortCalculator works, basically works with data or inputs that you might have, variable costs, fixed costs, and overhead expenses, and also a few but important financial, farm general data. At the end, whenever you enter the information into the HortCalculator, you as a user of the tool, you're going to have some outputs. And that's why we are here today, to talk about the outputs, to talk about cost analysis, profitability analysis, sensitivity analysis is, I think that's one of my favorite parts of the tool, because you could have different scenarios to see how changes in prices and yield will impact your net profit, for example, and also break-even analysis for price and yield in order to see what is the minimum price or minimum yield that you have to reach in order to cover costs. And last but not least, we are also having other financial indicators like return on investment or marginal benefit cost ratio, just to compare with ratios, how much money are we making per dollar invested. As I said, today we are here because of the financial ratios, and with that, this is the goal of the project, is to evaluate the economic feasibility of biological control compared to pesticides or conventional production against aphids, for example, or pests for specialty crop farmers. And with that, we're going to provide a tool and insights to improve profitability and sustainability. A little bit of commercial part at this part of the webinar. So as Dr. Torres said, we have been having this progress so far. The first webinar, Dr. Juliano Marquez went dive into record keeping, because as I said previously, the tool works with data, and if we don't have data, if we don't have record keeping, we will not be able to put the tool to run. That's why you can go to the website. The website is in the chat too, so you can go to see how to watch what was the first webinar on record keeping. The second one was on enterprise budget, because if you have data, you could build an enterprise budget. And with that, when you build an enterprise budget, you can have some key financial performance indicators for decision making to compare between one production method or another.
Yeah,
So,
can I just interrupt you a bit
yeah, of
before we
course.
jump into proper to the financial ratios? And we need to accomplish some needs and expectation from the founding agency. So I would like to provide the audience with two first fast questions to answer, if you allowed me.
Yeah,
And
sure.
if you want to answer those questions, it's gonna be pretty fast. So is it showing to you a poll question?
Yes.
If the participants could answer, it would be great. So how many participants? One, two. Let's wait 10 more seconds for everyone to participate. All right, I think we are good to go. Thank you, John. Sorry for interrupting. Thanks everyone
Okay.
for responding.
Thank you so much, everyone. Well, at this point of the webinar, I want to introduce how we can understand the farm financial performance when introducing beneficial insects. So basically the tool, prior to develop the tool as an online website, we have to do different things. The first thing that we did as a developers of the tool was to collect data with different farm scale sizes in order to get the real questions. Whenever you're introducing a input, you need to respond a question. So for that question, in order to be specific, we went to different farm scale sizes, because we found that even if two different farmers that were apart for, let's say, 30 minutes driving, they were producing the same crop. In this case, we collected data on spinach under high tunnels, and these two growers, or these three growers, that were apart, let's say like 20 or 30 miles apart, they were producing the same crop under the same high tunnel with different system methods, different tools, different type of labor. So we went to grab all of the information that we require in order to build the website. And also we did a research at Purdue releasing 3 different biological control because this data will tell you this tool will tell you basically if the introduction of biological control agents or beneficial insects are more or less profitable than your conventional production. So you're gonna introduce the data that you have as you're currently producing, and the tool is gonna tell you if, when you need to select the data that we have, or you can enter your own data, obviously. But we're gonna have as an add-on data from 3 different beneficial insects. The first one is lacewing, the second one is lady beetles, and the third one is minute parrot bugs. So and we have also a case study in order to show you how this data works. Since the online tool calculator is not ready yet, but is in a good shape, we are going to have a case study in this case to show you what you could do with the tool, because prior to develop the online tool, we need to develop a Excel spreadsheet that's help us as a framework for the tool. In this case, I'm gonna share an Excel spreadsheet to show you how a case study will look like when introducing a biological control into the operations. This farm is a very small scale farm. It's just 1.5 acres. They produce spinach on their high tunnels. They produce a little bit over of 1,000 square feet of spinach. They sold all of the spinach through a direct-to-consumer channel. The price per pound of this spinach was $10. The annual gross sale for the whole farm was $110,000, and that this farm is located in central Indiana. And you will see why we need to ask this type of questions, because the tool gonna make different assumptions in order to grab feed costs for spinach production under high tunnel. So if you allow me, I'm gonna stop sharing here because I'm gonna share you the Excel spreadsheet. Could you please let me know if you are watching an Excel spreadsheet? Okay, thank you. So basically, this is how we build the Excel spreadsheet that, again, is helping us as a framework for the website. Obviously, an Excel spreadsheet is not like too user-friendly. That's why we wanted to build a website, because it's gonna be like graphically, it's gonna be better, and we're gonna have better graph. We're gonna have more information to show you. But at the end, and also this is how the information will look like. So before to get the financial indicators, we need to enter different data. So the first one, we need to enter like general farm information, like for example, what is the total land of your farm? What is the total area that you have on high tunnel, for example? What is the area that you plant for your spinach? What was the yield? When did you plant? When did you harvest? Also, some general information like what was your annual farm gross sale, or how much are you paying for your labor? Because at the end, we wanted to have this information to make some assumptions in order to build the enterprise budget, to make a comparison between conventional production and beneficial insects production. So we also have a sales section that you need to enter how much are you receiving for your yield. Some variable costs like seeds, manure, paper pot, or other inputs. Some labor usage, since we have at the beginning of the tool, we have how much are you paying for labor. We just need to have here the timing. So we just need to be how much time are you spending per activity. So we have pre-planting activities, pre-harvest activities, and post-harvest activities. And we build this based on different farmers that we collected data on. Also, we have some equipment machinery just to have the depreciation cost. We have purchase price, useful life, and annual maintenance costs for different equipment. And
Grandpa is drunk again.
last but not least, we have the overhead expenses. In order to because one of the things that I was
Just how many
is,
times ride that fucking bike?
one of the things that I was wondering is whenever I was looking for enterprise budget on the website, it was pretty difficult to find an enterprise budget for spinach production per se with fixed costs or overhead expenses. And at the end, you need these costs in order to cover, even if they are not directly tied to the production, like overhead expenses. So we also build this. So I think with this model, if you introduce this information, you're going to have a very realistic cost of your operations. With this information, you need after they introduce this data, you need to choose between 3 different biological controls. So the data that we are going to provide into a tool is basically 3 different beneficial insects. Each of them have data on marketable yield, which basically is going to be the percentage of yield that can be successfully sold. And also we're going to have cost of the beneficial insects and also labor related to beneficial insects. So you're going to choose between the 3 of them. And then with that, you're going to have something like this. I don't know if you're seeing. So you're going to have 2 different tables. The first table is going to be your total cost before the introduction of the beneficial insects, which basically is going to be your current production. So you're going to be, the first table is going to be your current production with a pie chart to be more like graphically basically. And the second table is going to tell you what will be your cost after the introduction of biological control, the biological control that you previously choose. You can compare here between costs, but if you're comparing between costs, it doesn't tell you a lot. So that's why we went to profitability analysis. At this point, you can compare between who method is more profit. If you're making more money with your conventional production, or if you're making more money with when you introduce the biological control, okay? And also we have a table to compare gross revenue, total cost, and projected net profit. I think at this point of the tool, you can make a decision. You can say, okay, I'm going to make more profit with this method. I could choose this. But we went deeper and then we developed economic pest risk assessment, which basically is going to compare a square foot versus a square foot. So we are bringing to the minimum scale a comparison between a square foot versus square foot. How much I'm spending in cost per square foot in my current operation and how much I'm spending per square foot if I introduce this biological control. So as you could see in this point, you can compare marketable yield, you can compare the total yield, you can compare gross revenue, you can compare total cost, and you can compare net revenue. But since we are comparing per square foot, again, it ain't telling us too much. So we went to, at the bottom of this section, we have an area like this. I don't know if you're seeing. So you could enter whatever area that you want. So if you wanna enter, let's say, if you wanna grow spinach in 5,000 square feet, you could enter and then you could have a new projected net revenue with a customized comment. If you wanna grow, I don't know, like at 100, let's say 1,500 of area, you're gonna have a new net projected revenue. So this part of the tool, this section of the tool is very versatile, and then you could have a lot of information here. Again, next we have a sensitivity analysis, where basically it's gonna tell you how how much are we having on impact in our net profit when price and yield are changing. So we have two tables. The first table is going to be with the current operation that you have, and the second table is going to be the sensitivity analysis when you introduce the biological control. Just to compare with scenarios, and also we have different comments here. So we have customized comments for your pessimistic scenario. That's going to be when your price drops by 30%, and also your yield falls for 30%. You're gonna have a pessimistic scenario. You're gonna have a comment for your most likely scenario, and then also you're gonna have a comment for your optimistic scenario. So this is gonna be the perfect reality, or it's gonna be a really nice thing for us if we're having a increase on the price by 30% and also in our yield. But since this is not a reality, we in this section of the tool, we built 49 scenarios, so you could take decisions based on 49 scenarios. Next, we have the break-even analysis. So we have break-even analysis for yield. At this part of the tool, in this section of the tool, basically what information we are receiving is what is the minimum yield that you need to produce in order to cover your cost. So basically, in this section, you're comparing how changes in prices and costs are impacting your yield. And again, we have the three customized comments for your pessimistic, most likely, and your optimistic scenario. And then we have two tables. We have the table for break-even yield analysis, and then we have the yield analysis with your current operation, and then we have the break-even yield analysis when you introduce the biological control insect that you choose. Next, we have the break-even price analysis. In this section of the tool, we need to understand what is the minimum price that we need to reach in order to cover costs. I heard from Dr. Torres we make a talk. We did a talk like 2 days ago in Danville, Indiana, and then I heard from Dr. Torres and from her experience that she talked with different farmers, and whenever a farmer go to a farmer market, they don't even know why they are putting this price. They just put the price because someone else put that price too. And if you don't understand the pricing strategy, you don't even know at what price you need to sell in order to cover your costs. So I think this is an important part of the tool. If you wanna make some marketing strategies for your operations. And last but not least, we have different financial ratios. So we have two. The first one is a marginal benefit cost ratio, which basically you're gonna have in the tool customized comments, and this ratio is gonna tell you basically, for example, this ratio is 1.66. So what a marginal benefit cost ratio tell us is, in this case, this operation is making 1.66 of ratio. If they are making 1.66 on gross revenue whenever they are investing $1 in beneficial insects instead of your conventional production. Again, this marginal benefit cost ratio compare the marginal benefit of choosing beneficial insects instead of your conventional production. So the ratio basically is going to tell us that we are making $1.66 on gross revenue whenever we are investing $1 in beneficial insects instead of your conventional production. And at the end of the tool, we are having the return on investment. So basically, again, we're having some customized comments, and with this ratio, we're having 1.47 dollars on net revenue whenever we're investing $1 in beneficial insects. With that, I would like to come back to the presentation. any one of you have a question? If no, I can come back to the PowerPoint, and then whenever we open the floor for questions, I can come back again to the Excel spreadsheet. Okay.
Who won? Hurry, I'm old, man.
Okay. Are you watching the PowerPoint?
Sorry,
Okay.
John. I just removed this person. Sorry for that.
Okay. So with that, I would like to share some recaps of key points and final thoughts with you of the tool. This tool was built for winter spinach. So all of the information that you could have is for winter spinach. And I think the methodology that we apply in the lab is, so the thing that we are seeing is to compare at this time your conventional production versus a beneficial insect. But with this technology, you can compare anything. You can compare machinery versus labor if you want. You can compare a irrigation system versus another irrigation system, or one technology that you're having currently in your farm versus another technology that you want introduced to your farm. So I think the methodology for the tool is has a lot of potential. However, at this point of research at Purdue, we are having the tool to compare between your current operation versus a beneficial insects operation with three important beneficial insects. And with that, I would like to open the floor for questions, and I will be more than happy to address it.
If someone does have any question, we, as Jean-Pierre was saying, we just presented on Tuesday, right? We just presented in Indianapolis at the Indiana Horticultural Congress. We also know that there is currently not tool like this available. So we're very excited. I think a tool like this can bring a lot of information to farmers, but not only for growing, also if you're considering investing on something, or you're considering growing a spinach and you've never grown a spinach, or if you're considering biological control, this tool can help you understand what are you getting into before you get into. And also it allows you to understand what are the different things that can happen to my farm and how do I manage risk. Because one of the things is that we don't know what can happen, right? Like COVID happened and a lot of farmers had to change markets. So you can decide, well, I'm going to sell everything to a wholesaler, or I'm going to sell everything to a restaurant, and this is the price they're going to give me. So these a level of dynamic understanding and dynamic assessing what is the impact of any decision or any shock in your farm, natural disaster, can really help you to understand where are you standing and how can you manage that risk and manage that natural disaster or shock. So very excited. There's a lot that is coming up. So we're going to have 7 more webinars, 6 to 7 more webinars. We're going to disentangle different components because ultimately what we want is to make this available to anyone for free.
Yeah, another thing that I would like to add to add to the table in this conversation is that since the tool requires data, the tool requires input, so we're gonna have some videos in every section of the inputs in the input section to guide users on how they could enter the data, and I think that's gonna be very helpful because in a very brief video, you're gonna know what data you need to enter at this part of the in this part of the section. And I think Steve was wondering when is the tool is gonna be available, and we were thinking on March, but if we are also looking for growers because prior of our official launch, we need to test the tool with growers just to see if the questions are making sense or the information that we are having are doing great or are doing like helpful for farmers, and also to record some feedback from farmers. So if you, Steve, are interested, we could share a link and we could pretest the tool with you, and you could send us your thoughts, your feedback, and if you have any comments, that will be very amazing for us and greatly appreciated.
So to answer the question, we're expecting March. A couple of reasons. Jean-Pierre is graduating in May, so he has to he has to have it before he leaves. And also it's before the growing season. So we can have more farmers as they're planning to grow and planning to make decisions. Because as if you thought about it, we can expand this to tomatoes, cucumbers, radish, onions, any other crop, as long as we know what are your expenses and how much you harvested. Because if we know how many hours of labor you used, well, how much you spent on seeds, fertilizer, and pesticides, and what are your equipment that you use for growing a crop that you're going to grow, we can tailor this to any other crop. So very excited to have these available, and very excited to have this webinar recorded and available again. Share it with anyone. We're gonna come back to more webinars, and we're gonna be here every month. So hopefully it's gonna be warmer next time.
Yes, and please, Ariana, before we end up, I need to share two more questions with you. And please, if you could answer these, it would be great.
So the questions are to understand what is the useful of this webinar, and it's important for the funding agency to tell us, are we actually doing something that is working? And of course, there's a lot of information here, so we want to understand how do we make this better.
Yep, and the good part of these webinars is to understand the farmer's need. The past webinar that we did, we could reach a farmer here in Indiana who provided us with great data. And again, if any of you want to collaborate with us, please send us a message, and we are more than welcome to visit you and talk and provide the tools information for you. So I'm gonna share my email here. So Steve, this is my email. You can contact me and we can chat and we can have you a call and we can try to help you and discuss a little bit more.
So in the chat, we've shared the next webinar will be February 17th. So 3 days after Valentine's Day, if that matters to you. And then we have two email addresses, Dr. Giuliano and my email address. So any question, any doubt, anything that you would like to know, we're more than happy to answer your email and work with you. Because if you want to test something, or if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy a high tunnel, we can help you understand, is that high tunnel going to be worth it? I'm going to buy biological control. I'm going to grow spinach. Or I want to increase an area of my spinach. Is that going to be worth it? Those are questions that we can answer with the tool. So very happy to, if you reach out, we're very happy to connect and very happy to help understand what's going on with your farm.
It's a pleasure to having you, Manuel Garcia, here.
Thank you.
How are you?
Doing good. I missed a couple of the presentation, the distraction, this guy, but it's amazing what y'all doing, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and now that Ariana was mentioning, we in Texas, we're working right now in the budgets as part of the Agri Life. We work in try to update the budgets. I think I'm gonna try to send an email to all of you. See, we can do something because we have a lot of cash crops and
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I think this is a lot of applicability for other parts of it.
Yeah, if you have a budget, so any budget, we can plug it in. So
I have like
basically a
20
budget
budgets.
is,
I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that we're working like a 20 budget for different districts of the in Texas. So I think we can have some pretty accurate data that we can put in that
Yeah, so
calculator.
for those of you who don't know, a budget, it's basically like a portrait of your revenue, your money in and your money out. So it's a farmer. A budget is the example of a farmer, how much money a farmer would make and how much money a farmer would spend, and at the end, what goes into their pocket or their bank account. So we can plug in those farmers into this tool and then understand what's going on, because we can take it further and say, well, this is your break even. You should not sell less than that. As Jean-Pierre was saying, a lot of farmers that I've talked to sometimes go to the market and they go, oh, I want to sell my tomatoes for $5 a pound. And then they walk into the market and everybody's selling for $3. And they have to go for $3 a pound. But then if you know that your budget tells you, hey, you can sell it for $2, you know you're making profit. So you're walking in with confidence that you're going to make money. But if your budget tells you, if your tool, if your report, your break even tells you, hey, you shouldn't sell it for less than 350, find another market, because you're not going to make money, you're going to lose. And those are the things we're going to attend the Mid-Atlantic conference, fruit and vegetable conference in Pennsylvania. And we're going to talk about how do we use pricing based on this tool? How do we help farmers set pricing strategies based on what this tool tell us, right? So very excited to have that. I don't know if there's going to be a recording of that, but more than happy to, if someone has any ideas. What we want is to take these and help people and help understand, answer questions. So anytime, Manuel, let us know. We'd love to connect. Well, if nobody has any other question, we want to thank you all for attending this webinar. Again, it's going to be recorded, so you can share it with anyone. And I'll see you in a month.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, Jean-Pierre and Giuliano.
Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you. Bye bye. Take
Bye
care.
night. Bye.